relationship with company is my name. I just want to grow older, travel the site in these rounds. So she got me out of my mind. I'm trying to keep these nerves to grab hold to the microphone. Got her nodding along. Maybe she'll save the world for me. Maybe she'll right my wrongs. Coming on strong. Oh, well. Only way to tell is by saying just how I feel. That's real.
Shout out to the CIA. What's going on, everybody? Friday wrap up. Friday wrap up. Friday wrap up. Friday wrap up. Let's mute that. Let's get everybody get a chance to get in. What's going on, people? We're going to wrap up this Halifi week with a request video. This video was requested by a longtime patron and follower of the channel. And it's been a topic that I've actually spoke on and I've been wanting to speak on again in this last week of corporate content. Last week's corporate content and things like, and this other, and last part of this week has been like perfect time to go ahead and delve into this. Perfect time to delve into this. So let me do something real quick. Moderators, you have the floor. When I'm teaching, here's what I want you guys to pay. I want you to do. When I'm talking, we're on subject. Anybody coming here talking about anything other than what I'm talking about, off topic, remove the comment. I have zero tolerance, zero patience for a bunch of silliness. But luckily, we don't have a lot of that over here. Brenda, what's going on, Mac TV? Today, we're going to talk about rebranding yourself for success. Rebranding, personal brand. You've heard a lot of this stuff. Understand something. You get to choose how you're perceived in this world. Understand something. Your clients change. You should too. Your circumstances change. Every 5 years, human beings evolve. Every 5 years, a man is different. So here's what I want you to understand. That there's something that was stated in the Bible that Jesus of Nazareth, you know, shout out to the big Jesus, JC, big Jesus Christ. Jesus couldn't perform miracles in his hometown because of their disbelief. Those who knew him when he was young knew him only as a carpenter's son. So when word started to spread of Jesus and his teachings and his miracles and things like that, it was always outside of his hometown. But the people where he was from, they just knew him as Joseph's son. They kept him in the place where he was, so his gifts could not even manifest. Flash forward to 2020, and many have to leave their hometown because they're not allowed to make mistakes, grow, adapt, and change. Many can't evolve when they're always locked into that screw up from 8th grade. This is men and women. I mean, it does have a particular, and I will say as a Black man, I think it's a particular issue for Black men. And I will go in a little bit more into that, but this is something that fits for everybody. So when we start talking about the need for change, man, that's like heresy to some folks. And this whole double down culture, you know, stick to your gun culture. So many people are just stuck something or somewhere that's not working because they refuse to adjust to change. Personal brand rebranding is critical for success of both you and your personal and professional life. So let me talk about this. How many people do you know, if you ever walk in a company and you ask, this is how we do this task, and it's inefficient. It's inefficient. It takes a bunch of time. It just makes no sense. And then you ask your manager or your supervisor, hey, why do we do it this way? When it will make make more sense to do it like this. We do it this way because that's what we've always done. Understand something, that men, if you want to change, if you want to become the best version of yourself, you're going to often have to leave where you are or leave those around you, because only fools refuse to adapt. See, we think that so many of us think that by changing is a negative thing. You ain't keeping it real. You selling out. You this, you that. No, let me show you something. Let me show you what I mean. How do you think, imagine you were in business, and if you didn't adapt to new markets, you'd be out of business. Let's go back to 1905. That's the Pepsi, 1898, PepsiCo. That's the Pepsi logo. 7 years later, in 1905, 1906, 1940, 1950, 1962, 1973, 1991, 1998, 2003, and here's the current logo. Change. Your clients change. You should too. Understand something, that there are people who are watching my channel right now who may love everything I talk about. 3 years from now, you're 3 years, 12 months, 6 months from now, you may have moved on to someplace else. Churn, 20%. So when you start out in your life, that's why you need to try lots of things to know what you like, because you don't want to get stuck doing the same thing because somebody told you. Rebrand yourself and make yourself stand out. Case in point, here's 7 reasons why you want to rebrand yourself, reinvent yourself. You may want to move up in your company. If you want to move up in your company, guess what? You're going to have to, whatever your reputation is, whatever your personal brand is, we're going to come back to what your personal brand is. But this is a reason. If you want to move up in your company, it makes sense to rebrand yourself. If you've been out of the workforce for more than 24 months, you're certainly going to need to rebrand yourself, because technology has been updated, the marketplace has changed, skills have been updated. You cannot go in still with the same playbook.
You're on one today big growth. Experienced at first hand myself with family and old friends.
Thank you, Showtime. If you want to stay in your field, but you want to change specialties, like in the oil and gas business, when I was a corrosion engineer, what if I wanted to train over to drilling? You're going to have to get a new set of skills, and rebranding yourself is going to be necessary before you can make the change. You may want to recast your skills and move into a different industry. Like when I was working at Papado and I was waiting tables, I took those same skills and transferred them into being able to be a salesperson, inside sales for MCI. You have to always keep your eye on the ball and see innovators, entrepreneurs, hustlers, movers, and shakers are always adapting, always changing, always moving. Look here, right here on YouTube. The channels that continue to grow, thrive, and move, always evolving, collaborating, staying up on the latest stuff, fresh music, trying different content strategy. Gary Vaynerchuk is great at this. Gary V started out with Wine Library TV. And even with his massive success, he is always trying something new. Dan Locke, same thing. Grant Cardone. You look at Alpha M, teaching men's Alpha M, Jose Zuniga, and teaching men's fashion. Alpha M, in men's fashion, is a very narrow band. But if you want to grow your business as an image consultant, You have to talk about more than just clothes. You can't live stream about clothes. There's nothing to talk about long-term with clothing. There's only so many different ways you can mix and match an outfit. But when you start talking about hair, that opens up an entire new thing. When you start talking about grooming, it opens up an entire new thing. When you start talking about skincare, an entire new thing. When you start talking about fragrance, an entire new thing. And then it all leads into fitness, an entire new thing. Well, guess what? Some people will be like, well, those aren't your particular specialties. It all is under the same umbrella. And the people who make the most strides, Jose Zuniga, when I met Jose in 2018, he had 50,000 subscribers, January of 2018. But because he and his brother employed a different content strategy, he went from 50,000 to 500,000 in 1 year. Jose is now at 4 million subscribers. Just got married, got a baby on the way. He's a multimillionaire, 7 different businesses. Shout out to Donovan Sharp. Donovan Sharp, brother I talk to often behind the scenes. I actually turned Donovan Sharp onto a documentary that was done by Shane Dawson. And it was talk about the wonderful life, crazy life of Jeffree Star. I don't care about Jeffree Star's sexual orientation or what he does. He made some brilliant business moves. Jeffree Star, I mentioned it before, he pays $20 million a year, $20 million a quarter in taxes. A guy went from having $4,000 to his name to 3 years later paying $20 million per quarter in taxes. Men, you never need to resist people who tell you not to change, not to evolve, not to try things new. You're going to have to try things new. So I'm giving you some examples of why you want to rebrand yourself. If you want to move into a different department, you're going to need to rebrand yourself. If you want to go from full-time to freelance or vice versa, you're going to need to rebrand yourself. Or if you want to make a wholesale career change, you're going to have to rebrand yourself. Well, what about in your personal life? Never resist rebranding yourself or reinventing yourself. It's one of the 48 laws of power. Reinvent yourself and don't build a fortress around yourself. Wise men learn from the mistakes of others. Learning the power of rebranding, reinventing yourself keeps things fresh, keeps things new, keeps things innovative, keeps people coming back. Because at the end of the day, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. How many times do you look at and say, man, I used to like so-and-so football team or that basketball team, but you know what? They fell off. They haven't brought any new talent. They haven't mixed anything up. They're just doing the same thing over and over. YouTube in 2008, just getting on YouTube, talking head was enough to get 100,000 subscribers like that. Now it is the most competitive marketplace online. In order to survive and thrive in business, in a competitive space, you're going to have to continue to hone in your brand, reinvent yourself, rebrand yourself. Here's one of the main things people have an issue with rebranding: fear. Fear of what people are going to say. Well, if I change my focus, if I do that, then I'm going to be looked at as wishy-washy. I've been told that I just need to do something and stick to it. No. You have to be willing to risk failure for success. When I worked at the McDonald's Corporation, when I first started working at McDonald's, quarter pounder cheese, Big Mac, cheeseburger, hamburger. They had a quarter pounder with no cheese. They had a chicken sandwich, chicken nuggets, fish fillet. But then something happened in the mid 80s. The cola wars are going on, the burger wars are going on, and McDonald's are always getting hammered by Burger King saying, yeah, they're fast, but you can't have it your way. Over here, you can have it your way. Wendy's and Burger King were always at McDonald's saying they don't have lettuce, tomato, or nothing. It's just prepackaged, dehydrated onions, whatever. So you know what McDonald's did? They said, okay. They brought in what they called the McDLT. Hot side stays hot, cool side stays cool. They brought in breakfast. They brought in salads. At one point, McDonald's was trying something every freaking quarter. And when you go to McDonald's today, you see what do you see? You don't see, how many McDonald's do you know that go out of business, go bankrupt? What ended up happening? It used to be Burger King and Pepsi against McDonald's and Coca-Cola. But now you go into Burger King and what's over there? Is the Pepsi over there? No, it's Coca-Cola. Yesterday's enemy or yesterday's competitor is the next day's collaborator. That's how business is done. The business of you. What is your brand? What is your reputation? What are you trying to achieve? Because before your brand goes someplace. And you get to decide what it is. You get to decide your brand focus. You get to decide the impact. So I'm not going to be on here long today, but I wanted to, so many people work for someone else, they don't understand that you have a brand even inside of the company. Just because you work for someone else does not mean you don't have a brand inside of the organization. What are you known for in your company, in your department? Promotions just don't happen. Companies and people are always watching. And people who are always pushing the envelope, people who are always reinventing themselves, staying ahead, staying ahead of the curve, are the ones that management keeps their eye on. Executives keep their eye on. When was the last time you actually went out and reinvented yourself from a skill set standpoint? Do you wait for the company you're working for to say, okay, we're going to give you additional training? Or are you willing to go out and invest in it yourself? I'm back. I remember now. What's going on? Now, I know that, so one of the ways to rebrand yourself from a style standpoint, I'm gonna show you. For guys, what's one of the easiest ways to rebrand yourself from a style standpoint? The 3 F's. Let's start right here. When you see me normally, you see me in bold black rim frames. That's what you see me most of the time. Here we go. Do something like that. Add a little color, red, browns, angles, slightly tinted lenses to wear indoors. Hold on. I got stuff to do, but I wanted to show you guys something before I drop the video. What's up, Tom Brokaw? See these frames? Nothing quite like it. Conversation starters. Become known for something. Another pair. I have a video where I show how I took these glasses who just had normal clear lenses in them and just added a little color, and it's like it injected all kind of style into my existing wardrobe. I love these. Rebranding. Personally, here's the thing. You don't want to get stagnant, guys. And here's, especially the older we get, the more we get stuck in our ways, the more we get settled in our ways. Right now, this may not seem like it's extremely important. For you younger guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, yeah, rebranding yourself is massive. Check these out. With the inner loop, but if you could actually see that, that's a tie-dye lens. No, contacts or frames. Obviously, I'm wearing, how can you change your, how can you use contacts to change your face? You need to rebrand. If you're not evolving, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. Every 5 years, you should be a different man. You should have different skill sets. I mean, your body's going to be different. Your hair is going to be different. Your weight is going to be different. If you're not evolving, if you're not progressing, you're regressing. And the thing is,
When
all
attempting to rebrand yourself via personal style, what is a suggested amount needed for clothes aside from the consultation fee?
when attempting to rebrand yourself via personal style, what is the amount suggested for clothes aside? Oh, dude, that's too broad. It's different for everybody. Depends on where you're starting from. Depends on where you're starting from. It also depends on your industry, what you're trying to accomplish. See, there's no one size answer fits
Where
all.
store do you shop it for your glasses?
Um, I buy particular brands. I don't go to Sunglass Hut. If it's in the mall, I don't go to it. Find a local optometrist that carries Cartier, Chrome Hearts, Jacques Marie Mage, stuff like that. You know, just have a felony lock you out of corporate America. No, no, but you will need a good image, and you will need to also be able to explain that. See, the average 40-year-old professional white collar man has about $50,000 tied up in his professional wardrobe. He should. Each pair of shoes should cost you $400 minimum. So if you have 6 pairs of shoes, that's $2,400. One suit, $1,000. That's already $3,400 right there. If you got 6 basic fragrances, $100, $125 each. Let's call it $150 with tax. That's $750. Is that right? $750. No. It's $800 right there in fragrances. 3 ties. $100 each for ties, $300. 5 white shirts, at least $100 per shirt. See, most men don't have a quality men's wardrobe. Most guys have cheap clothes that don't fit. You don't have to break your bank, but it needs to be quality. So at the end of the day, rebranding yourself. Topics like this are never going to be hot, salacious, but they're the most important. Because when you walk outside of your house and you go to work or you go into your personal life, you are competing with the rest of the world. And most of us are, if you were raised by your mother, you're living your mother's image of you. Most men have never sat down and said, who am I? What do I want to be? What image do I want to project? Most of you are doing what you've been taught by mom or grandma. You haven't taken charge of your image, your appearance, behavior, communication, digital footprint. You don't understand how important it is, but yet it's the one thing that you have the direct control over, and it's the one thing that is impacting your life, all the things in your life. The way you look, the way you behave, the way you communicate, and the way you look online has far more to do with your outcomes in life, the way people treat you, interact with you, than your resume, than your abilities, or anything else like that. So if that's the case, are you approaching it seriously? Are you approaching your business? Are you approaching your own image as an actual brand? He said, I get my suits from Suit Supply, my shoes from Allen Edmonds. Good start. So rebranding yourself. This is another good thing, especially for people who've had a rocky start. Let me give you some hope. One of the best things you can do as a guy graduating from college is to get a professional image consult. But a man, some of my best clients the bulk of my clients are guys who are trying to go and get a promotion, people trying to get promoted or move up, or people going through transition in life, meaning major weight loss or major weight gain, usually major weight loss, or a bad breakup or divorce. I get to see men either on the up or on the down. And thing is, when men are on the down, they're looking for solutions. And one of the easiest things to do to get yourself back on track is to like what you see in the mirror. Because if you're a man and you just gone from a divorce or a breakup, you're gonna have to be back out there in the world at some point. If you haven't been out there for a while, it can be kind of intimidating. This is why I know, I mean, I find it interesting that image is communication. It has everything to do with what goes on in your world. So just like when the guys, here's the old trick. Charles will tell you, when you have a breakup with your girlfriend, oh man, we just broke up. The guy remedies, oh man, let's go to the club. Let's go to the club. Let's go to the strip club. Let's get you some new strange. That's a Band-Aid. Do you want real fix? Rebrand yourself. Like who you see in the mirror. So when you end up walking by your ex or seeing your ex, 12 months, 36 months later, like, oh, I screwed up. So if you lost 300 pounds, how much you lost 300 pounds? No offense, man, but how much do you weigh now? That's how you lost 300 pounds? Have you, that massive amount of weight loss? I mean, just the simple clothing you would need. Just the sheer amount of clothing you would need, because if you lost 300 pounds, you need a whole new wardrobe. Nothing will fit. Using your image to get what you want. That's another value of rebranding. Is your image opening doors or providing opportunities? If not, it's not working. If your image is not drawing things to you, meaning people, men that you would want to conversate with, things like that, if they don't see you as one of their own, they're going to just look past you. Everybody, I don't have this much time to get into it, but image is about a lot. We like people like themselves. That's why people with, who go to college and, I don't want to use that way. That people hang around people like themselves. Do you look like you belong? Do you look like you fit? Well, if you want to fit, you need to look like you fit. You don't go, let's say go play golf. You don't go play golf in a basketball jersey and sneakers. You put on the golf stuff. Conversely, you don't go to play basketball in golf pants or golf shoes. Rebranding yourself. Critical if you are critical for your career, massively important if you are starting your own business. Again, on the personal side, if you want to move up in your company, you need to rebrand yourself. If you've been here's some reasons to rebrand yourself. If you've been out of the workforce for at least 24 months, you need to rebrand yourself. If you want to stay in your field but change specialties, rebrand yourself. If you want to recast your skills into another industry, rebrand yourself. If you want to move into a different department, rebrand yourself. If you want to go from full-time to freelance or freelance to full-time, definitely got to rebrand yourself. Or if you need a total career change, rebrand yourself. If you're going through major weight loss or major weight gain, rebrand yourself. A major life transition, divorce, big breakup, all these things are going to, because how you look, how people perceive you is going to have a massive impact on how people, on what you get out of life. Well, some of this is common sense, man. And here's the thing, once you do it, it needs to stay constant. You rebrand yourself, great, got to maintain it. Every 5 years, human being, every 5 years, it said we evolve, we change. So, case in point, go back and look at some of my videos 3, 4, 5 years ago. You'll see that before I actually went and got my own consult from somebody I trusted, I was trying all the different style personalities until I settled on what works for me. Now, when you see me, what do you normally see me in? Black suit, charcoal gray suit.
Enjoy learning from the master.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for what you do, Kev.
Black suit, charcoal gray suit, pinstripe suit, maybe a plaid suit. But usually it's a solid suit, white shirt, white, solid tie. My uniform. When you see me dressed down, it's usually black or blue jeans, a black top, whether it's a V-neck, crew neck, or whatever, maybe usually a turtleneck. Standard, usually always boots, frames, footwear. Somebody asks, is it limited to visual appearance alone, or are there other areas? I've gone over them many times. Rebranding yourself is not just about how you look. Go back to the beginning of the video. There's skill sets. The natural tendency for people is to get lazy. And when you get lazy, you get past. Continuing to reinvent yourself, especially in business. Look, you may have the best chicken wings and you may have the best whatever, but the menu needs to change. It needs to evolve. If you're providing the same services and it has not changed, something's wrong. If you're providing the same stuff day one, day 5, year 5, and you have not changed. Same market strategy, same market approach, same target client, you're not evolving. Continual change. What you liked at 20 is going to be different than when you like at 25. 25 is going to be different at 30. And the 30-year-old self will look back at the 25-year-old self and be like, "Woo, I've come a long way." Same thing with the 20-year-old self. There should be a change every 5 years. You guys say your skin is light too. You guys need to get off this silly shit. Do you understand what poor lighting will do to a camera? What's wrong with y'all? Just because you got guys who are, you sound silly. My skin is not lighter. Camera had poor lighting on the inside. Plus, I was riding outside a lot. Test, try beating the winning product. Exactly. Not just try beating the winning product, you should be bringing on different product lines. If you're not failing, you're not trying. That's the problem. If you're not failing, you're not trying. That's why I love Gary Vee. Alpha M was on Shark Tank twice. When he started out his style channel, he had the Alpha M style system where he would put together this kind of numerical style system. He doesn't even offer image consulting services anymore. So I'm the only image consultant left on YouTube. He has Teach handling. He has a sunglass line. He had these little, I still have them on there, these little collar dots, all kind of stuff. Menfluential, the last Menfluential conference, their conference is going to be the last one, is going to be here in a couple of weeks. Always got to be trying to do something. So yes, there will come a time when I actually will start launching additional things. Jose has essential teas and watches and this and that. That's what you're supposed to do. That's business. You rebrand yourself. You bring on different verticals. You bring on different product lines. You try different things. Some work, some don't. Pete and Pedro, yes. And the funny thing is, Jose, when he said, and when I met Jose here 2 years ago, he was like, they had been doing their style for 3 years and they hadn't really broke out. Back in that day, he was taking everything to get it super tailored. He had a bald head. His brother was still doing stuff. But when they started doing this shopping challenges, you know, $100 at Walmart, $100 at here, $100 at there, you know, there is a formula on YouTube. You need to have consistent uploads, and you need to make content for what your people want, not for what you think. You got to look at yourself as a product. What do the people want? And this is the problem a lot of folks have. Man, I feel like I'm selling out. I'm feeling like this is grown man stuff. This is why some guys stay stuck, either because they listen to people from their hometown or who know them when. They fear change themselves. They get comfortable. But the guys who are always out ahead and leading the pack, while everybody who's back over here complaining and murmuring, talking crazy and saying whatever, but those guys are way down the road. Jeff Bezos, imagine if he had listened to people back when he was talking about Amazon. Whatever you're good at now will change in 5 years. You have to be good at it then. Media formats will change. Platforms will come and grow. YouTube is where it's at right now, and Instagram. But if YouTube and Instagram were to go, you need to have a business that's going to be able to just take the next thing, whether it's TikTok or whatever's the new Instagram or YouTube or Uber or whatever. You need to always be in the mix. Don't sit back and just relax. Rebranding yourself, continue to push yourself, not getting comfortable in your success. All right, a couple of questions and I'm gonna get out of here. You just started a YouTube channel. It's very helpful. Join Creator Academy, Creator Insiders, YouTube one-on-one. If you want to be successful in YouTube, it's about watch time minutes and velocity. But what YouTube will tell you, the success in YouTube is collaborations. That's the quickest way to become successful in YouTube. Collaborations, because getting an audience is what it's about. And then you have to be able to have original content. So you can't be against something. You have to be something. You have to be somewhere where you have to have something where people are going to. There's a formula for being successful in YouTube, but it comes down to actually doing the work. What are you talking about, Quincy Jones? While I do agree, you never appease everyone's wants on YouTube. People are that's not, okay, never mind. You missed the point. So always gonna be someone looking to disagree in something. But I will use this as a point. There's always gonna, no matter what you say, there's always gonna be someone, yeah, but. Results, outcomes. The people who follow people who can show you and demonstrate they've done it or they know how to do it, and they can show it to you. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. I got plans for this afternoon, this evening. So that's quick. That's quick, down to it. Less than 40 minutes. We are out of here. Till next time. Talk at you later. Peace.